Hi, everyone. Welcome to another segment of Barely Inbounds. Hey, Dave, what are you doing?
Huh? Oh, Sal. I'm sorry. God, I was twittering. I was completely preoccupied with this. Sorry about that.
What were you twittering to Miss Bivens about her new edict about possibly the girls doing it on the golf course?
That's the most ridiculous thing. Again, just another example of how the LPGA commissioner is completely out of touch with what the LPGA is all about. This is a competition. You can't have people out there twittering during rounds of golf.
Well, just to catch up for anybody that was in a cave last week, she came out in Bloomberg and basically said that she'd like to see her players, if it got approved by the USGA and the rules of golf, to Twitter on the golf course. And, frankly, if you
Ugh.
think of it for a second, it sounds okay in the beginning, but then you go really hard and you go, what is she thinking of?
What's okay about it? There's nothing okay about it. I mean, first of all, you've got the temptation there to violate the rules of golf. It's interesting. I know you had a little exchange with David Fay, who kind of poo-pooed the whole notion that players might try to seek advice using these devices and things. I'm not buying that. It's sort of like performance enhancing drugs. If it's out there and it's going to give you an advantage, somebody's going to try to use it sometime. And it's not beyond the realm of possibility. I think that a player would try to do that. So why even have the temptation out there? Don't do it.
Well, you know what? The basic thing is, let's forget about this tweetering or twittering or whatever it's called, but let's talk about the focus of this. And the focus is on Carolyn Bivets and her, style of being the commissioner. And frankly, I think of this as just as much of a mistake as what she did back in August about the English language thing with the Koreans. The only difference is she hasn't offended anybody here. But, it just goes to show that,
Well, what it shows, Sal, she doesn't understand what her organization is all about. This is an athletic competition out here, and if girls are out there twittering during a round, what is that telling me? That's telling me that they're more focused on communicating with fans or whoever they're communicating with than they are trying to win a golf tournament. Golf is tough. You have to focus on golf, and it just. It makes no absolute sense to me. It's taking away from the concentration, and that's showing me that you don't care. You're not trying to win, and if that's the case, that's a death knell for the LPGA. If you have players out there not trying to win.
Yeah. Well, let's move on. NCAAs came out, and what they did was they tweaked the rules this year. In the past, they've always played 4 rounds, and it's been stroke play, strictly stroke play, and they wanted to, change things around. And what they did was they extended it to 5 days. The first 3 days was stroke play, where 8 teams went into match play, and they had 3 matches. They had a first round, they had a semifinal, and they had a final.
And it was fantastic.
Well, I agree with you. It brought a lot of interest and it brought a lot of media attention to it and everything. But quite frankly, what happened was Oklahoma State, who's been, basically the best team in college golf this year, they had a really big lead. They led the first 3 rounds by 7
shots.
shots. 7 shots. They went into match play, and unfortunately, they played Georgia, which is probably the second best team, and you had your big match there. And then by the time everything was, said and done, Georgia was gone, Oklahoma State was gone,
Play
and we
better.
were left.
Sorry, play
We
better.
were left
Make
with
birdies.
Arkansas. We were
Win your
left with
matches.
Arkansas and Texas A&M. So, and Texas A&M won the whole kit and caboodle.
Come on, you'd love it if there was an upset in the NCAA basketball tournament and some Cinderella story came out there. What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that, but it's just a golf tournament is played at stroke play. It's not done by this match play back and forth and things along those lines
What
where
do you
you
mean?
have
Match
your
play
best
was
match
how all the
first.
major championships were decided years and years ago. We've evolved into this
Years
stroke
and
play
years and
thing.
years ago.
We've evolved
But
into
there's
this
a
for
reason
TV.
why.
Well, you're not going to get TV college golf anyhow, regardless of what you do. So let's do match play. One thing that I like about this, first of all, just prepare your team better. Have them play a little bit more match play so they don't foldo when they get into that situation. But you know what? Having this stuff happen, these guys are going to be better prepared for if they're trying to make the Walker Cup team. When we have the years down the road, if it's a Ryder Cup matches or it's the President's Cup or whatever, that's why we've gotten beaten so often in those things, because our guys don't play that much. I think it's great to give them that kind of experience.
Well, you know what? I could go in either direction. I just don't like NCAA, the finals, ruins the tradition of the whole thing to go in this direction. But you know what? You can look at it in both ways. Now, talking about that, let's move gears to Colonial. And we had Steve Stricker win. But you know what? Steve Stricker shouldn't have won the tournament.
Well, you know, he had chances early on. He missed, three short putts early on. And, you know, Tim Clark then obviously gave it to him, this poor snake bit guy.
You talk about a guy that's been snake bit. There's nobody, you know what, we could talk about, you know, guys, he's won the most money. He's won close to $14 million without a victory. That's clear, you know, the leader. Now, if you look at, you know, guys that we could go in history and say, hey, who's the guy that has, you know, basically done the most? It's Bobby Watkins. He played 713 times on the PGA Tour in the 70s and 80s without a PGA Tour victory. He had six runner-up finishes, 50 top tens. He only earned $2.8 million. But, you know, Tim Clark is catching up with him. And I'll tell you,
he's got a long way to go.
Well, I'll tell you one thing he's done. Tim Clark has now been runner-up 7 times. It's the most of anybody. It surpassed Bobby Watkins, who had 6, and Colin Montgomery, who had 6. And nobody on the PGA Tour has had more without a victory. And if you look in all of golf, he's catching up with Laura Ball, who had 10 runner-up victories. But you know what? He was really snake-bitten because of the fact that he had a one-shot lead going into the final hole, bogeyed that hole. Playoff with him and Stricker and Steve Marino. He had, what, 7 feet on the first hole and missed it, and then, you know, Stricker made birdie on the second playoff hole.
Hey, you know, it's bizarre because this guy, you know, you talk about, geez, maybe it's a lack of heart, but I mean, a little guy like that to compete the way he does, he has a lot of heart, but what's going on in between the ears? You know, I don't know. I think he maybe he'll lose that long putter, get rid of that broom handle thing. Maybe he would have made those putts without that.
Yeah, good victory for Steve Stricker. First win of the year. He now leads the scoring average category, 69.46 average, 4th in earnings, 2nd in FedEx Cup point, and he has 4 top 5 finishes, tying him with Sean O'Hara, Phil Mickelson, and Kevin Nail for that.
Stats.
Okay.
You know, again,
let's talk.
The guy's got some heart. The guy's got some heart. You know, he has been down in the dregs before. He's come back. And when he was given that opportunity to go out there, he made the most of it. So you got to like Stricker with that.
Okay. Well, let's talk about Memorial, which is this week. Tiger's back. So, of course, we're both going to say Tiger's going to win the tournament. So, let's have our tournament picks. We can't pick Tiger because we both know that Tiger is the, cream of the crop out there.
I wouldn't pick him anyhow, Sal, because I don't think he's playing enough golf. The guy's got to start playing some more golf if he expects to win some tournaments. So, who I do like, I'm going to give my 2 picks, my pick and my long shot, 2 Northwestern University grads. I'm going with Luke Donald, who was tied for 13th at Colonial, and he tied for 6th at Memorial last year. I think he's rounding into shape. Now, my long shot is the longest of long shots, a kid named Chris Wilson, Wilson. Jack picked him, gave him an invitation. He's a hometown kid from Dublin, Ohio. He's grinding away on the Hooters Tour right now. He's currently 97th on the Hooters Tour money list with $4,200 and change in 5 starts. Last year he was 44th on the money list. He made a whopping $24,800 in 11 starts.
You know what? I like Sean O'Hara because of the fact that he won at Wachovia. This golf course is a lot to do with Wachovia. Same kind of layout. Hey, this is the first time the tour is in the Northeast. So it's going to be played a lot in the Northeast for the next 3 months. Like Sean O'Hara, he finished tied for 5th here. Also like Kenny Perry, but my long shot pick is Ryan Moore because of the fact that Ryan Moore finished 2nd there in 2007. He's another guy like Tim Clark that you just wonder, when is he going to win?
He marches to a different drummer, but I like him. Oh, wait, hey, I think he might be tweeting me right now, anyhow.
Okay, well, we'll leave you with that, and we will talk next week with another edition of Barely Inbounds.